Time to pull up a chair. We've got another great story for you today in the rLounge. Before you mess with a family, make sure you know what you're marrying into. Today in the rLounge, a little boy with some big car wash dreams messes with the wrong father of the bride. Am I the a-hole for refusing to pay for my daughter's wedding because she won't let me walk her down the aisle? I'm a 48-year-old father to my 21-year-old daughter, Beth. I raised her to think for herself, and I've always admired that about her. We've had a great relationship over the years. She's always confided in me, and we've always had open means of communication. However, we recently had a disagreement. For context, she recently got engaged and told me she doesn't want me to walk her down the aisle on her wedding day. First of all, we don't know too much about her fiancé. They started dating about 2 years ago, but we've always trusted her in whatever decisions she made. We trust that she's always known what's best for her. Beth tried to tell her mom and I that we don't own her and I have no right to give her away. Well, I don't know if this is some new way of thinking that these young folks have nowadays or where she got this idea that we're giving her away, but I always looked at it as more of a respect thing or that she loved her dear old dad. It hurt me to hear her say all of that because we never viewed or treated her as an object or possession. We only ever wanted to give her the best life possible, and in being a part of her wedding like that, it would have been an absolute honor. Her stance feels extreme to me, and despite discussions, she refuses to change her mind. I respect her choices, but I feel like she is disregarding our feelings completely. In response, I said that if she truly believes this, then I will not be paying for her wedding. If we don't own her, then she might be of the mind that she can pay for the wedding herself. I don't want to seem controlling or manipulative. It's true that we do not own her, but I also don't owe her a fully funded wedding. If she insists on this view, then she can pay for the wedding herself. Am I in the wrong? Edit. I just want to clarify that my issue is not about wanting attention on myself during the wedding. Simply walking my daughter down the aisle with all eyes on her and then sitting down does not make the wedding about me. It's about her attitude towards excluding us from this important day. As parents, we have given her every opportunity in life, and for her to reject our presence at her wedding feels like a slap in the face. It disregards and disrespects everything we have done for her. I have always been a supportive and involved father. I have provided my daughter with love, guidance, and countless opportunities throughout her life. I have always been there for her. Now that she's an adult, I never expected my relationship with her to change in such a drastic way. The fact that she doesn't want me to walk her down the aisle at her wedding feels like a rejection of our whole relationship and all that we have done for her. I understand that she wants to make a statement about not being owned by anyone, but I feel like she is forgetting all the love and support we have given her throughout the years. It's not about controlling or owning her. It's about being there for her on one of the most important days of her life. This kind of selfish behavior goes against true independence, which involves being able to think for oneself while still respecting others' thoughts, feelings, and perspectives. Wedding traditions and symbolisms may have roots in outdated practices, but it doesn't mean we should discard all of them. Walking a daughter down the aisle has long been a symbol of respect, pride, love, and honoring the father-daughter relationship. True independence means finding a balance between asserting individuality and showing respect and consideration for others. And I just want to clarify that our disagreement will not ruin our relationship. We are still very much close, and there's no chance of her not inviting us to her wedding or cutting off contact. I think it's natural for people to have disagreements, but it won't affect our lifelong relationship. Likewise, we would never refuse to attend the wedding or cut her out of our will. We value our relationship more than any differences in opinions. This dad's got a front row seat to the millennial revolution, where suddenly walking your daughter down the aisle is as outdated as a flip phone. I can't help but chuckle at the irony here. This dad, thinking he's the captain of the ship, steering his daughter toward a traditional wedding, only to find out she's charted a course for uncharted waters. Ahoy, matey, welcome to the sea of modern relationships. It sounds like a tale as old as time, parents trying to hold on to tradition while their kids sail off into the sunset of independence. Update. Well, to all those criticizing me for being the a-hole, I have decided to give her just as much money that we gave to her older sister for her wedding. She can spend it however she pleases. And to those who agree with me, thank you. Most of you understand where I'm coming from. After I posted about my disagreement with my daughter about walking her down the aisle, we had a long and heartfelt conversation. I expressed my feelings of hurt and disappointment at the thought of being excluded from such an important moment in her life. My daughter listened to me and understood where I was coming from. She explained that she wanted to break away from the traditional idea of the father giving away the bride because she sees it as outdated and sexist. She also didn't want to feel like a possession being passed from one man, her father, to another, her husband. But she acknowledged that she never considered how this decision would make her parents feel. She suggested finding a compromise where she could still honor our relationship without participating in the traditional giving away aspect. Update. Well, my daughter called us today and she said she wants the money as soon as possible, and I asked her if everything is okay. She says yes, but that she needs to pay the remainder of the wedding fees for the hall, the caterer, and the rentals. Well, I said as long as she's okay and she's telling me the truth, I'll transfer her the money. She assured me that everything was okay. I feel like she's not telling me something. I'm disheartened by my daughter's behavior. Something felt off. So I called her sister to ask if she had spoken to her. She said that Beth had asked her to be a witness to their wedding. I said, a witness? And she said, yeah, they decided to go to the Justice of the Peace in the coming weeks. And I said, Justice of the Peace? I said I just gave her the cash I had promised her because she said she needed to pay off the hall and rental fees. She said that's really bizarre because Beth told her that she had canceled everything and they just wanted a very small and private wedding, and they had asked her and her husband to be witnesses. She said Beth told her not to tell her mom and I of the exact date they were wanting to go to the JOP. I asked why. She said Beth didn't want her mom and I randomly showing up. I asked her if we did anything to piss off Beth, and she said she doesn't know. She said Beth hasn't really told her the details, and it was a shock to her that Beth wanted to move the date of the wedding and cancel the big wedding they had originally planned. But then she said between us and her, she thinks Beth is pregnant, but that I shouldn't say anything to her or bring anything like that up to her because she didn't want Beth getting mad at her. She felt like she was walking on thin ice as it was. I found myself wrestling with conflicting emotions. On one hand, I wanted to respect her choices and support her decision to do the things her own way. On the other hand, I couldn't shake off the sense of loss and missed opportunity to share in her joy on her special day. Her mom and I had no idea what we did wrong, and we didn't want to push it either. But what do we do? What should I do? Should I say anything? Could she be in danger? What's with all the secrecy? My daughter means the world to me, and I couldn't bear the thought of not being there for her, even if it meant adjusting my expectations and letting go of certain traditions. But she's always come to me if she's had a problem or issue with anything. I mean, she's always been closer with me than her mother. I just can't understand why she's not coming to me now unless she feels like she's in danger. I felt this heaviness of unanswered questions. My daughter's abrupt decision for our financial assistance and opt for a clandestine ceremony at the Justice of the Peace left me reeling. Should I confront her? Or should I respect her wishes for privacy, trusting that she would confide in me when the time was right? It didn't feel right transferring the money, but in fear that she was in some serious trouble, I went ahead and sent the money. I guess the deal was, however she pleases. She texted me and thanked me. My gut is telling me something is wrong. Just when we thought things were settling down, the drama ramps up to 11. First, Dad's playing the benevolent benefactor, offering up a cash gift as a peace offering. But hold the phone, Beth's got her own plans. And they don't involve a fancy venue or a walk down the aisle with dear old Dad. Nope, she's going full stealth mode, plotting a secret rendezvous with the Justice of the Peace. Beth's got more secrets than a government conspiracy, with rumors swirling about a potential bun in the oven. Update. I ended up calling her, and at first she wouldn't tell me. She actually got mad that I knew about what was happening, and I said this has nothing to do with her sister. She ended up telling me that her fiancé needed the money to start up his own business. I was taken aback by my daughter's revelation. Her sudden change in plans and the true reason for needing the money felt like a betrayal. I tried to understand her perspective, but I couldn't shake off the feeling of hurt and disappointment. The fact that she kept such important details from us made me question our relationship and communication. As a father, I had always been there to offer support, guidance, and assistance whenever my daughter needed it. To be left out of such significant moments in her life without any explanation stung deeply. I struggled with conflicting emotions of wanting to respect her privacy and feeling the need to address the lack of transparency and honesty. But I couldn't hold back. I asked her why she just didn't tell her mother and I the truth. If they were really in a bind, she should have said something. She said that her husband felt mediocre compared to me. She said it was her fiancé who didn't want me walking down the aisle originally, and then that turned into not having a big wedding because he couldn't afford it, but he was just too prideful to accept our money to pay for the large wedding. He felt that he could never give Beth the life that she deserved. Beth's mother and I worked hard to be able to give Beth every opportunity. We worked smart, we made investments, and it all happened to work out for us. We were well off because we worked for it. It didn't come easy. There was a time in our lives when we had nothing, but we tried not to let our daughters go without. I expressed my concerns about her secrecy, the abrupt change in wedding plans, and the financial assistance being used for a different purpose than initially stated. She started crying and said she was sorry for lying to me. She said that she came up with this idea that if they didn't have the big wedding, they could still use the cash for starting up a car wash business. She said that he pressured her, I see what you did there, into still receiving the cash because he knew that I wouldn't be able to say no to my favorite daughter. I remained silent for a moment, trying to process the situation and collect my thoughts. Finally, I spoke up, my voice tinged with a mix of sternness and concern. I told her that I appreciated her honesty now, but I couldn't ignore the fact that she had allowed herself to be swayed by someone who was willing to deceive her own parents for personal gain. I reminded her of the values we had instilled in her since childhood: honesty, integrity, and respect. I expressed my disappointment in her fiancé for putting her in such a difficult position and manipulating her trust. I assured her that my love for her remained unwavering, but I also made it clear that I expected better from her in the future. She listened quietly, tears streaming down her face as she absorbed my words. After a moment of heavy silence, she finally spoke and apologized profusely for her actions and admitted that she had been blinded by love and the desire to please her fiancé. She confessed that she had allowed her insecurities and pride to cloud her judgment, leading to the deception and secrecy. I told her honestly that if the man she's decided to marry is turning her into someone she doesn't recognize, then maybe he's not the man for her. I urged her to think about what she was doing and what her future might look like if she went through with this. She said she needs to think about things. I told her if she needed to get away for a few days, she's more than welcome to come home. She said she'd let me know in the morning. We've got Beth's fiancé pulling a fast one, scheming to snag some cash under false pretenses. I mean, starting a car wash business? Talk about washing away your worries with a bucket full of lies. And poor Beth, caught in the middle of it all, torn between her love for her dad and her desire to keep her man happy. But hey, at least she's finally come clean, even if it took a good old-fashioned guilt trip to get her there. But let's not forget Dad, laying down the law with a mix of disappointment and dad wisdom. He's not about to let his little girl get taken for a ride by some two-bit car wash con artist. Update. Last update for you. It's been a few months now and Beth has moved back in with us. Despite the initial tension and heartache, having Beth back home felt like a balm for my worried soul. It was as if a heavy weight had been lifted from my chest, knowing that she was safe under our roof again. Beth had reflected on the last few months, and as her father, I tried to offer her comfort and guidance without pushing too hard. I wanted her to know that she could count on me no matter what, that my love for her was unconditional. Eventually, she decided to separate from her fiancé. I mean, I'm just thankful we don't have to deal with a divorce. The only thing is that when I transferred the money, she had transferred it into a shared savings account, and her ex then proceeded to withdraw that money out of their shared account, and we don't know what he's done with it. But he'll hear from my lawyer soon about that. Beth is doing much better, and she's back to being that wonderfully intelligent and powerful young woman that I raised. She seems in much better spirits. We haven't heard too much from her ex. He seems to be avoiding the fact that he owes us money. She's also told us that he owes her a significant amount of money as well, so he's been quite silent. It seems like she's just happy to be rid of him and to start anew. The sweet sound of freedom from a failed fiancé and a drained bank account. Nothing like a good old breakup to bring the family back together, right? So Beth's back under the parental roof, and Dad's feeling like a proud Papa Bear once again. Sure, there's some financial mess to clean up, but hey, that's what lawyers are for, right? Time to show Beth's ex that messing with her money means messing with the wrong family. And as for Beth, well, she's back to her badass self, ready to conquer the world with her newfound independence and a whole lot less deadweight dragging her down. Looks like it's out with the old and in with the new for our girl Beth. What do you make of this? What would you do if your daughter asked for a large sum of money? Would you have helped? Thanks for joining us today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell before you leave. We'd love to hear your thoughts on today's topic, so feel free to leave a comment. See you next time in the rLounge.